we had our buddy Gregor Mendel, Austrian monk, playing in the garden with some pea plants. And this fundamentally changed the way that we understand heredity. Mendel's experiments fundamentally changed the way we understand how traits are passed from parent to offspring. And also, if you ever have to take a stats class in your life, you can thank our old buddy Greg here because he introduced this idea of mathematical modeling. So making a prediction of the proportions and then comparing that prediction to what we actually observe. Do those things match? But why did Greg use peas? Well, there's three reasons. The first one is that these pea plants show a lot of genetic variation. Okay, we see these variabilities in the color of the flower, the color of the seeds, the color of the pods, the shape of the seed of those pods, the shape of these seeds. Where do these flowers exist on the plant? All of these things are under genetic control, and these traits that Greg picked to include in his experiment breeds true. So these inbred lines or these inbred lineages, those offspring are going to have the same traits as their parents and their grandparents and their great grandparents and their great great grandparents and so on through all these generations. Another reason that Greg chose these is because peas, unlike a lot of plants, have the ability to fertilize themselves. Now, if you remember from last chapter, the whole point of sexual reproduction is to have genetic variability. Now, if our male parts are fertilizing the female parts of the flower, and we're having sexual reproduction with the same individual, that's going to lead to less genetic variability than if we were outbreeding. So most plants have a mechanism to prevent this, but peas, they're going to go ahead and do it. They don't even care. The reason that that matters to us today is because that gives us a nice, lovely little control group. Our third and last reason is because in addition to being able to self-fertilize, they will readily mate with other individuals. Okay, these have really big flowers. And so what Greg was doing is that he would go to his purple flower, he'd remove those male portions, get out of here, and he would take the pollen from one plant, put it on a paintbrush, and to transfer it to the female portions of the other part. So he could control who, like the individuals that were mating. Okay. So this gave us that experimental group that we need to have in order to have valid scientific studies.